I did it all for the money. When the player had to eat, that one the damn thing funny. Hey, hey, I did it all for the money. Hey, I did it all before. Rob people so dope. Gang banging, shooting pistols, running from the dance folks.
All right, welcome to the Playing with the Church Money podcast, man. Today, we're going to get into a few cases going on in my city about dealing with crime, youth crime and youth violence. And I want to send out my condolences to any of the victims involved in any of the cases with the people that I'm going to talk about. So that's first and foremost. I don't want nobody to get up here and think that I'm disregarding anyone's life over the freedom of another person's life. So now, the first case is the Darian Bashir case, Nob Hill shooting. So Darian Bashir case, salute to his mama and his family, you know, for staying in there through these tough times. And the same for the parents and family of Jackson Weller. It was an unfortunate situation. Nonetheless, this is what happened, and it transpired. So in the beginning, when the case went down, just like all cases in our city, they always demonize the black person that gets arrested for the crime. I have firsthand knowledge of it. We'll discuss that later. Now, moving on, when it happened, you know, he was walking downtown. He shot the UNM baseball player. You know, it was a big outrage in the community, the schools, the businesses. And then right away, you know, the lawyers started wanting the surveillance video, and a little bit more of the story started coming out. So, you know, they made it seem like Darian Bashir was walking down the street in Nob Hill and saw Jackson Weller, and there was some kind of verbal exchange, and Darian Bashir just openly shot the kid. Later on, it comes out that Jackson Weller was actually in an altercation with some people and got kicked out of the club. Some say a violent altercation, so he got kicked out of the club. And then it spilled onto the street where he was still being aggressive with that energy, and took that energy out onto the street in Nob Hill, where he got kicked out, crossing paths with Darian Bashir and either the person or the groups that they were with, or whatever the case may be. They refused to release this part of the footage. They actually said it had no relevance to the case. It has much relevance to the case. When somebody is aggressively intoxicated, more than likely, because they're getting kicked out of a club and they're coming out on the streets, this happens a lot. We've seen the video of Lyman, the guy that shot the police. He was downtown, and there was an aggressive guy that the bouncers had kicked out the club, and people started beating up because the guy started getting aggressive with them. It's the same type of thing. They didn't want to release the footage because they didn't want us to see the details, and I understand there's an investigation, but transparency is a must in order for things to be handled right, in order for the process to go through thoroughly. So you know, they arrested Bashir. They made a big thing about it. They brought in the state police. They used it as an excuse to come. They used that shooting as an excuse to send in state troopers into the lower income and poverty-stricken areas of Albuquerque, which had nothing to do with the nightclub shooting. What this is the same thing that was happening downtown. It's just when you have the hip-hop crowd and it happens, and they're to blame. But when you're in Nob Hill and you have more upscale white people that tend to frequent Nob Hill, they don't want to admit the ugly side of it, which there's many videos of Nob Hill fights. So back to the story. So Bashir, he ended up getting locked up, demonized for about a month or two. They were just dragging him on TV. He had other cases pending. He was out on bond, so they tried to use him as an excuse. However, This is where the for the media, this is for the same thing for the law enforcement and the way they like to present these stories. This goes all the way back to the Memphis mob thing where they try to demonize black men in our city. So they try to demonize him, use his past and all that to prosecute him. However, when you had the skate park shooting of Jacquees Lewis, Greg Buchanan was out on bond for selling meth in that area. And when they complain about Los Altos being crime stricken, well, maybe that was the answer. Maybe that was the person who was over there defending his turf, because that's what he was doing in that area, selling meth. And so when he saw Jacquees Lewis and a crowd of black kids over at the park and some kind of altercation ensued, of course, he felt threatened and felt like he had to defend his turf. But the real story behind that was that he was out on bond for dealing meth. And he decided to go to an underage birthday party and take a weapon, which automatically you're violating all your bond conditions, which is committing crimes on top of that. So you're already in the commission of a crime because you decided to take alcohol and a weapon to an underage kid's birthday party at a skate park. So once he gets there, there's an altercation that happens because the police forced Jacquees Lewis' group to move over out of the park to the skate park. So once they got there, there was some kind of altercation. There's videos where you can see Jacquees Lewis walking away, and from the altercation, Greg Buchanan jumps in his face and tries to fight him. Jacquees Lewis puts hands on him. The two other grown men try to fight him. He puts hands on him. A few seconds later, Jacquees Lewis walks away. Greg Buchanan's buddy pulls his gun out to give it to shoot or whatever he's going to do. Shot himself in the leg, handed it to Greg Buchanan. Then he killed Jacquees Lewis. So all of this in the commission of a crime, they demonized Jacquees Lewis. You go watch the videos. Police say, oh, we're on your side. Just automatically disregarding any crimes Greg Buchanan committed because he's white in a white area and the kid was black. So they left Jacquees Lewis' body out there laying for hours. I personally went to Greg Buchanan's trials for this and his drug trials because I wanted to look in the eyes of somebody who is a child murderer of a child in our community, because I have kids that age. So I wanted to see what he looked like. I wanted to confront him. So yeah, I went down to the courthouse and sat in some of his trials. And when his trial got dismissed, I jumped in the elevator with him and confronted him about it. And the look on his face was like he saw a ghost. He couldn't get out. Him and his buddy couldn't get out the elevator quick enough. And I was by myself. And they were bigger than me, but they couldn't get out the elevator quick enough. You don't believe me? Ask Jacquees Lewis' grandparents. They was down there on the day that happened. I was able to get in the courtroom and watch it and follow them down and get out of there. So he gets his drug case dismissed. He gets his the murder case dismissed, and he walks away scot-free. Now, he didn't get demonized the way Darian Bashir did, months on end on the news, months on end talking about his previous cases and stuff like that. He didn't get demonized because I believe there's somebody who's a politician named Buchanan who worked for the city previously who's probably related to this cat. So that's just what's going on in our city. When it comes down how they present these stories, when it comes down to our youth, it's a whole different story. We get demonized. So they went all out for the Darian Bashir, even though they're just trying to get him. You know, it was a murder case. You know what happened? They're listening to phone calls, so they go after his girl because she was trying to make money to get, you know, a lawyer for him and stuff like that, and found some drugs in the apartment. I'm looking for this information. I briefly heard a story on this same case where they arrested another kid where they said he was promoting the murder of Jackson Weller online. So basically, he was doing what they do in Chicago where they get online and start talking about the dead ops and stuff like that, the dead people. And so they charged him. So y'all aren't understanding this. It's a whole nother level of sophisticated discrimination they're doing with laws towards our people, and it's getting sickening. And I don't see no outrage from some of you people in the community. I don't see no outrage from some of you cancel culture vultures when they were dragging them on, all the networks and KKOB and the KKKKOB and all them. I didn't hear none of that. So now this trial just started. There was a mistrial. So now the brother's going to have to go through it. His family's going to have to go through fighting this all over. They tried all this stuff and still it was a mistrial. Why? Because maybe perhaps Jackson Weller was the aggressor. They didn't want to release this video, and perhaps that is the reason. So, we need to support some of our youth and get them going on the right direction. But if we're just going to abandon some of these people when they need us, then it's just a lot of hot air coming from some of these cancel culture vultures in the community. So, second case I want to talk to is another Darian Mills. And it's just quite convenient that on the day of the eve of the mistrial, which they probably anticipated there being a mistrial, they go extremely hard on this brother who had got shot 2 years ago. Obviously, they didn't catch the person who shot him. And so he sees the person at the gas station. There's a verbal exchange. According to him, he said the guy said he should have took care of him 2 years ago when he shot him that time. So Mills, feeling threatened, pulls out his gun and starts and shoots and kills the guy. Now he flees the scene. He gets caught. He cooperates. He actually tells them, this guy shot me. I was in fear for my life. And so what happens? He cooperates. He's honest about what happened. He tells them, but what happens? They arrest him. Now, when it's time to get a bond hearing, and this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying that's getting sophisticated with these laws, and they're targeting our youth. They're targeting our community. It's nothing new. This has been going on, except now it's just blatant and bold-faced, and I don't see no outrage from the cancel culture vultures, from some of these people in the community. In this particular case, there should be a huge outrage from the mental health professionals, people with PTSD. But the fact that they denied him bond, and the judge sat there, a judge or a law official sat up there and said, yeah, 2 years have passed since he got shot. So any kind of trauma or any kind of fear should have subsided by now, has subsided. How does she know? She wasn't the person that got shot. But you see how, because these are the professionals, and this person's a civilian, they can determine the level of fear that you would have, the level of PTSD that you would have, the level of mental health stress that you would have from being shot. In 2 years, you should get over this. But you just actually saw the person who shot you, who probably didn't go to jail, and now this person is, you're in an altercation with this person. You're gonna feel some kind of fear. I don't know anybody who wouldn't. So if anybody from the military who has PTSD would like to chime in on that, has your PTSD, anybody who's been shot, has your PTSD subsided after 2 years? If you saw the person, do you think your PTSD would be gone? You'd be normal. I'm fine. This is the person who just almost killed me. Do you think that would? So for this judge to come out and say this is disgusting, and for no reaction from the community, from the cancel culture vulture community, from none of the gun enthusiasts, no NRA outrage. Where are the gun enthusiasts? Where are the First Amendment, the Second Amendment people? Where are the Second Amendment people at? Where are all the gun rights people at? No outrage. But you guys are whining over damn masks. But this man's freedom and life is on the line because he defended himself. He cooperated with the police like you're supposed to, according to you guys. But look what happens. So I don't see no outrage, no mental health professionals coming out in defense of this man. I don't see no gun enthusiasts coming out in defense because he said he used his firearm in self-defense to protect himself because he was shot. Isn't that the reason that you guys say, well, hey, there's criminals out there, so we need our guns? So here's the perfect example. This man was shot 2 years ago, had his firearm. What you don't know who's with them in the store. This man could have 3 or 4 people in the store. You just shot him, and you expect him to stick around after he's been shot? It's proven that he's been shot by this man. So what, you want him to stick around so somebody could run out the store and shoot him? No, he fled and left. Now, whatever the case may be, he was honest. He came out. He said that's what happened. So at face value, he should at least get a bond so he can be released. But instead, he's a danger to the community. Somebody who was honest, because he fled the scene, because he left the scene. Well, of course, he was scared, just like he said. But he's a danger to the community. His PTSD, it was nothing. He should have got over that. Being shot is nothing. Seeing your shooters, nothing. I don't see no outrage from the mental health community about this. No outrage from the gun enthusiasts about this. This is where I call a lot of BS on you people who are out here whining about masks. All you people who are out here just all the whining culture in general. This why I'm, and this for both sides, from the cancel culture. But that's why I call it cancel culture vulture, because you have people on both sides, the people who believe in it and the people who whine about it. So y'all are the cancel culture vultures, because y'all it's nonsense at the end of the day when you have real things going on in life. You have real things going on. I don't see none of you people jumping up to protest this. I don't see none of you people using this as an example for gun rights. So I need some people in the community to step up. The NRA, you should be playing for some law defense for these people, because this is an example of what you guys use. Any gun enthusiasts, why aren't you guys stepping up? Isn't there a whole lot of gun enthusiasts in Albuquerque? You guys are showing up to these BLM rallies to be counter protesters. So let's go. Where's the one brother, the Black Guns Matter brother? I don't see nothing. All you clowns, man. All you clowns in the community. Where are all the cancel culture vultures at? Why aren't you guys trying to cancel this lady who said, oh, the PTSD's over in 2 years? But that's the nonsense I'm talking about in our community, man. It's just BS at the end of the day. So salute to Darian Bashir for overcoming one battle. And he still has more down the line in the Bashir family. And keep your head up for Darian Mills. Some of y'all people need to be out there spreading this out there and putting the word out, man. I don't understand why there is no outrage about this in the community from the gun enthusiasts. Where are the local NRA chapter people? Should be all over this. It's clowns. It's clowns. And y'all proves when all these people start talking about racial stuff, it proves because you guys pick and choose who you want to represent. And if it's a blackface on it, you aren't going to side with that unless he sides with you guys. But here's a perfect example of it. I don't see nobody speaking up on it except for the gun enthusiasts that, oh, he's a criminal, he should be locked up. Well, the F with his narrative, let's take our narrative. He's a criminal, lock him up. He just got shot 2 years ago. So it's just BS at the end of the day. These judges need to be held accountable for these decisions. I don't see no mental health people at all outraged about the fact that she said his PTSD from him being shot should have been over with in 2 years, even though he just saw the person who shot him and there's a confrontation. Anybody who has PTSD, who has been shot or who has been afflicted by PTSD, I mean, come on, this is what we're talking about. So I don't see none of y'all outraged about this. So let's talk about it, man. Playing with the church money podcast. These are the type of subjects we're going to discuss in for my podcast and in this platform. People will say, oh, well, you're complaining. No, I'm pointing out the double standard. I'm pointing out the double standard. I've been in front of the cameras doing the perp walk, you know, and they said, oh, what I said was inappropriate, which I would like for them to explain. How is that inappropriate for me to basically tell the truth? The only person y'all paraded in front of the cameras was the black person. So when I said that, how convenient. The only person you're going to put in front of the cameras is the black person, but none of the white suspects. And they said that was inappropriate. Wow, 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 wow. I'm going to find that news clip. We're going to post that just so y'all can see. One news station said that, but if it was inappropriate, why did the other news stations broadcast what I say? So it just shows you they like to package and present black men as criminals in a certain way. We don't know how to speak when we're in front of cameras. That's what that said. This is a thug. He just says anything out his mouth. Y'all don't want to hear the vulgar, the lies he's saying, in other words. But that's what you guys did, and the fact that you would say that proves it. So, you know, we need to going all the way back from the Jacquees Lewis murder, we need to reevaluate, you know, how some of these crimes go. Some of these crimes are crimes, and these people need to go down. But there's a few instances: Jacquees Lewis murder, the Darian Bashir murder, the Darian Mills case, where everything isn't clear cut like that. Everything isn't cookie cutter like they're saying it is. So quit letting them railroad our youth and use our kids as an excuse for them to blow up their budget and balloon their budget so they can get more money for the police during next year's budget and get more money for they to pad their overtime, you know. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Y'all don't want to talk about these issues. The same with the politicians. And the same with all these people running around here doing these protests, and the same with these people on these radio stations complaining about the protests. Y'all do not want to talk about the issues. Y'all would rather play politics. There's a few of y'all who would actually and would have a discussion and a dialogue about solving the issues, but the majority of you guys would rather just play politics and whine and point fingers and, you know, talk about the other side or the other people. So if I'm going to talk about you, it's because you're doing some straight up BS that we can point out and we can show, not because it's something that's the political wave. So we're gonna stay away from the complainer, the YouTube complainer platform. That's what I like to call a lot of these guys, because there's no solutions for none of this stuff. So I let it be known, you know, I brought a solution to the table, Youth Violent Prevention Summit, when we're discussing the Darian Bashir, and we're discussing the state police coming in, and I let them know you will not allow you to use our youth as an excuse, because you cannot police the community. That's one thing that will not happen. But we don't have enough leaders in the community that's willing to step up and yell that, and with that same energy go back and provide some kind of solution. So I provided the solution, and you can ask them what the solution was, and nobody had a solution like that. But it was to get 100 kids out of the worst crime-filled zip codes and put them into a program where they get certified to have a better job, create a better life, put them on a different side of the law, and they can have an understanding of the law, bring better jobs to their community, bring a better lifestyle to their community, bring a higher income to their community, get the next drug dealer, shooter, victim, gang member off the streets, and get them in a work environment, get them to be a functioning member of society. And I asked for a fraction of what a lot of these other nonprofits get to service our communities for kids. And what ended up happening was a slap in the face. It did not happen. It did not pan out. I do have a few people that, you know, had reached out to me and were able to secure funds and had, you know, offered me funds. One person in particular from the mayor's office, and I'm not going to put her name out there because I don't want her to get any backlash or anything like that. But She was a very good person. And there's other people that I spoke with, the Kellogg Foundation, the health department. So it's just a matter of coming together with the leaders from the community and having an understanding that we can make these programs happen. But if you people want to play politics, don't use our kids as an excuse. We can come together and do something. But if you're going to try to keep policing systematically policing our community and systematically abusing your powers, like this judge basing a 2 years time frame on his PTSD, she's never been shot. So how could she even? And these are the type of things that, as black parents, we must step up. We must come together, put our differences aside, and come to an understanding. There's a lot of issues that we can discuss now, but we're just going to stick to this, to how our youth is handled and our youth is dealt with. So a lot of people don't know because you just don't know, and there's a lack of communication a lot of times. So I think with these two cases, it's not been on people's radar, and that's why I'm upset, because it just happened to be one after another. Now salute the brother Darian Bashir for the mistrial, and like I said, he's gonna have another fight ahead of him. You know, his wife, baby mama, she's facing federal charges for selling drugs now because they followed him. The other little buddy, he online, whatever he did and whatever he said, now he facing some charges when this goes on everywhere. This goes on everywhere. So why in particular are they targeting all the people in the Darien? It's real disgusting. They want to punish him because he killed the white kid in Nob Hill who was the UNM football player, even though that kid was the aggressor in the whole situation. If you go back and just look at all the stories, perhaps that's why there was a mistrial, and a miscarriage of justice, because the only person who was deemed the aggressor the whole time was Jackson Weller. And I want to, send my condolences to the Weller family. But this is how the media packaged and presented this whole thing. They didn't want to be transparent and release the nightclub footage. They didn't want to release that. So then we have to put two and two together, and this is what is going on. This is what happened, because the afterwards you started seeing different things. Now, you don't have that level of investment and interest in all these cases. Just like you had the girl who died at the state fair from overdose on ecstasy. They were having a rave or whatever, and she died. They went to her phone records and were able to find the drug dealer who sold her drugs. Now, my sister-in-law, she passed away in a hotel, and her body wasn't found till like a week later after it deteriorated. Then they didn't actually call none of her family members for about another month when they went through her phone. Now, how interesting is that? It took them almost a month and a half, 2 months to contact the family when this person overdosed. And they probably saw drug paraphernalia. They probably got the toxicology reports and found out that she had overdosed. So immediately they should have went in her phone the same way and tracked down her drug dealer and arrested him. But no, they don't do that for all people, especially people of color. So let's just be known, and that these are the double standards. These are the double standards. These are factual and actual. I'm not making this up. This isn't something I read on YouTube. This isn't something I saw on Facebook. Okay, so let's just not try to fool ourselves. A lot of people aren't involved closely in the community. So shout out to the Lewis family, Jacquees Lewis family, his parents, his grandparents. Unfortunately, there was a miscarriage of justice in that case. His murderer Greg Buchanan should have, the Albuquerque Boomerang thug, Greg Buchanan should have been convicted for that. Keep your head up, brother Darian Mills. This man should be out on bond right now. But because the judge deemed that 2 years passed since he got shot, and even though he just saw the person who shot him and they were having an altercation, that his fear, he shouldn't have had no fear. You shouldn't have a fear. This person shot you 2 years ago. Now you're in an altercation and you shouldn't have no fear. So I should just stand there and let him shoot, let him finish me off. It's disgusting. It's more disgusting. We don't have no NRA, no gun enthusiast people out here coming to the defense. Even the argument that this man, he wasn't out on bond, he wasn't out on, you know, any of that stuff. He was defending himself at a gas station. It wasn't like he was at a nightclub, at a bar. So that lets you know these are places of common places where you frequent. You don't expect to come across somebody who shot you 2 years ago. But because you have PTSD, you're going to be prepared. You're probably going to have a firearm. You're probably going to be a little cautious. But I don't see no one from the mental health people with PTSD, except myself. No NRA people, no gun enthusiasts. Why is that? Can someone explain? Can I get a gun? The NRA representative, forward this to him. Somebody forward this to him. Can you explain why no one came to the defense of Darian Mills for his self-defense argument? Mental health people, can you guys send somebody this from the mental health agency? I know a few people. I'm going to try to get it over to them. Can you explain why no one from the mental health was outraged that the judge attacked PTSD on this level? Can somebody please explain why no one? So this is what I'm talking about, playing with the church money. Y'all playing with the church money. So we need to talk about it. We need to understand why. No cancel culture vultures. I don't see no cancel culture vultures mad because here's a person who said, if you read, he got shot by somebody, said he had PTSD. I mean, basically he didn't even have to say he had PTSD. He got shot by somebody. He may have not even said he had PTSD. He got shot by somebody and said he feared for his life. And there was an altercation. And the judge outruled him, even though she's never been shot. I don't see no cancel culture vultures jumping at this. So y'all stop playing with the church money, man. I don't want to see y'all up here talk about nothing closely even related to any of what I just discussed without y'all addressing this, man. You know, there's stuff like R. Kelly trial and all that going on, and these are discussion issues, but this is what's going on in our city with our youth. No, I don't see nobody talking about it. So, you know, it's good to do the milk crate challenges and all that, you know, and laugh at these posts and memes. It's cool, but at a certain point, let's use some of that energy, you know, to try to do some good in our community, you know, use the platform. I ain't gonna say just use that energy. I'm just gonna say use our platform. So that's what I'm attempting to do here. We're gonna try to use this YouTube and Facebook platform to bring a little bit of awareness to issues in our community. There's something y'all want to discuss, y'all want to bring up, y'all go ahead and hit me up in the comments. Playing with the Church Money Podcast. I have some more videos that are that'll be posted soon. This is just one. I had to post this because it just recently happened, and it's like if I don't say nothing, it's gonna get swept under the rug, and these details will be ignored. So I don't want people to get away with all the fake outrage of the cancel culture. You cancel culture vultures, you know. I don't see y'all. I don't hear y'all. You know, I don't hear nobody complaining about this man, the complainers or the so-called cancelers. I don't hear nobody complaining about how this man's rights got canceled. Nobody complaining about how they want to take away his Second Amendment rights. So I don't want to hear nothing about no cancel culture vulture from you, all you complainers. I want to hear y'all talking about y'all canceling nothing. Because y'all can't even speak about stuff going on in y'all city. So let's go, man. Playing with the Church Money Podcast. This is what we doing. I need some of y'all, people that love to protest. Let's get some attention to this story. Let's get some momentum behind this. You know, if all we gonna do is hold signs and chant, you know, let's write some policies so we can put an end to some of this buffoonery. A judge can actually dictate. I mean, I thought a mental health professional does that. I don't know, maybe you mental health professionals aren't up to standard. I've worked in mental health, so that's why it's a little disgusting to me that this person can. She's a psychiatrist now, I guess. She's a judge and a psychiatrist. I don't know. So, yeah, we need to get some momentum. There'll be some more. I'll be discussing this a little bit more. I think I've touched on some of this in one of my previous videos that I'll be uploading here soon. But Playing with the Church Money podcast, we'll be doing 2 to 3 shows a week, and we'll be doing a weekly podcast called the Drug War Veteran Podcast, dealing with the effects of drugs in the community, and how a lot of people have you know, been affected have been affected in one way or another by the war on drugs. And so we'll be discussing that on that podcast. But if y'all got any anything y'all want to say, please leave y'all comment, share this video, hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe to Playing with the Church Money podcast, man, so y'all can get the latest news. We ain't gonna sit up here and gossip. We're not gonna sit up here and go back and forth. We're gonna talk about real issues in the community, and we're gonna talk about solutions, actual solutions. You know, with a monetary price tag on it, something that can be feasible for the community, whether it's dealing with financial or dealing with business, dealing with mental health, trade, learning, education. So things that can be brought to the table, basically. You can't bring gossip to the table. You can't bring some beef to the table unless it's actual beef from a cow. You know, you can't entertain rich people nonsense and BS when you're not a rich person and you don't like BS. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna discuss some issues that may discuss some rich people BS, and we may discuss some issues that may delve around the results of some of the gossipiness in the community and stuff like that. But as far as me getting up here and you know, giving you the details of the R. Kelly trial and stuff like that, you can read all the details for yourself. If I'm gonna discuss anything about that, it's gonna be something that's related to something in my community. So if we're discussing the Catholic sex abuse scandal with the Archdiocese here in New Mexico, then we'll talk about that, which we will discuss that. Be talking about St. Pius. And so I have someone, you know, I'm gonna try to get on to discuss, a few people actually I'm gonna try to get on to discuss how they feel, because they have a tie or whatever. But these are the type of things that we'll discuss on this show. We're not going to discuss no BS. We're going to discuss things that's going to be something that's relevant to uplifting and helping our community. If you got a project, if you got a movie where you need extras, you need employment, you want to, you know, let people know that you're hiring, or let people know that we're going to have a segment where we will promote black-owned businesses and businesses from the community on the show. So y'all stay tuned. Shout out to like I said, shout out to the Bashir family. Hold y'all head up. Condolences to the Thompson family. Condolences to the Weller family. And it's unfortunate these things happen. So these are the type of things we'll be discussing. You know, solutions, how to slowly evolve away from some of the gang culture and the violent culture that's been rooted. I was a part of that as a teenager, so we want to, and it's something that's not new, so we want to discuss these type of things so we can come to a solution and move forward with our community. So y'all stay tuned. Playing with the Church Money podcast. There'll be some more episodes uploaded soon. I got to do a little bit of editing. This one's going to be unedited. I just had to get this one out because there was just a mistrial yesterday in the Darian Bashir case, and the day before the judge came out and with a bold face, just ridiculous, disgusting, said that this man's PTSD subsided after 2 years. He shouldn't have been scared of a shooter. So that, and denied him bond on that judgment alone. So I just felt like, because this is something that's happening in our community, this is not happening in Chicago, New York, LA, Jacksonville, Miami. This is happening right here in New Mexico. So we're going to discuss it so we can keep these type of things relevant. This is why we need to have more involvement, more unity, more discussions about these type of things. So hopefully my platform will be the platform where we can discuss these type of issues and try to come up with some solutions. This is just my opinion, so I don't want no one to take this as me pushing my views. You have to think like me and believe like me, or no, it's nothing like that. By no means. You know, I have a whole bunch of friends, real good friends that I have much respect for, that we probably don't agree on probably maybe 50%. I would just, you know, put it out there, 50% or more of the things in life in general. You know, but as far as respect for that person and knowing where that person comes from, it's all love. You know, and the same, you know, I got political friends that are Republicans that to this day, if they needed something, I would, you know, go handle some business, you know, go do some work, you know. Sometimes you got to get your hands dirty. So, you know, these people have businesses, and, you know, just like anybody else, they hire people. And, you know, when I'm in a management position and I got to hire people, I'm not asking for no political. If you work hard, you work hard. If you're full of BS, you're full of BS, regardless of what political party you claim or represent. So we ain't going to let none of that phase us from talking about these discussions. I'm definitely not going to show any favoritism to anybody, you know, unless it's my friends or family, you know, nepotism. But no, man, on a serious note, let's just, we got to focus on our community. We got to come up with some solutions. So y'all stay tuned. Playing with the Church Money podcast, Drug War Veteran podcast. Man, y'all stay blessed.
I did it all for the money, I did it all for the money. When the player had to eat, that one a damn thing funny, I did it all for the money, I did it all before. Ride people so dope, gang banging, shooting pistols, running from the damn